you know where passion fruit gets its name?
No. Hello and welcome to My Tiny Bottles, the project where I'm exploring my grandmother's legacy of miniature liquor bottles, one tiny bottle at a time. I'm your host, Tammy Coxon, and I am here with my friend Cecilia Tan. And I invited Cecilia to come taste this bottle of La Grande Passion with me because she knows a thing or two about passion. Why is that?
I'm one of the world's foremost erotica writers and publishers. That's why.
Do you want to say anything more about that?
Well, the funny thing is, do you know where passion fruit gets its name?
No.
It actually gets its name from missionaries who thought that this tropical flower and fruit represented the passion of the Christ.
Oh, God. It's like completely not sexy is what you're telling me.
I mean, I'm not saying that missionaries aren't sexy, but but I guess the plant has thorns like the crown of thorns, and it has just, like the flesh represented one thing and the seeds represented a thing, and, full of symbolism. But it is in fact a very, very sexy fruit to eat. I have to.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had?
I have had fresh passion fruit, scoop it right out of the little cup it makes.
The native name for it is maracuya, which means food in its own bowl, essentially. Yeah, kuya is the word for bowl in the local language, and then so it means food in its own bowl. Because when you cut it in half, it's like a little dish. Yeah.
Well, they were definitely not playing up the missionary connection when they released this bottle in 1984.
La Grande Passion.
This is from Grand Marnier.
Mm-hmm.
We know of them for their orange liqueur, obviously, but they did make other things through the years occasionally, and this was one of them. This existed from about 1984 to 1994. This bottle has a government warning label, so it would be from between 1989 and 1994.
All right, which was when I was drinking a lot of Grand Marnier, actually, in goth clubs the world over. So, yeah.
Is that the official drink of goth club?
No, just one of the things that I would drink. Yeah. So, Jägermeister was more the official drink, I guess, of the time. But yes, just a tiny snifter of Grand Marnier, though, can be nursed for a long time while one sits waiting for the vampire of your dreams to come along.
It feels very gothy.
Yes, doesn't it?
All right. Well, this is supposed to be a passion fruit liqueur, and it's got a Armagnac base, so specifically passion fruit and Armagnac. And that is why they said that they had to stop making it because the Armagnac was too expensive.
Oh, was too expensive.
It looks like Armagnac, right? It's got that same brown color that we'd expect from a cognac or an Armagnac. And
it's almost butterscotchy.
In the color?
In the nose.
Yeah. So what I say, 89 to 94. So this is at least 30 years old, 30 to 35. So even though it was well sealed and a high fill level, it's just gonna have some oxidation or caramelization, or like somebody once called cordialization is something that happens with old sweet things. The sugars definitely seem to change over time. Although, of course, we don't know what it tasted like back then.
Right.
Kind of get caramelized sugar on the nose, too.
And there's almost a little waxy note.
Okay.
So, we'll see.
Get something that I perceive of as fruity, although I would not say it's passion fruit. But it's definitely a little bit different than the sort of grapey sweetness that you get from cognac, right? Or from Armagnac. It's super aromatic.
Yeah.
It smells really good. Do I need
warming my hand a little? Give me a little. Warm it a little.
Come back to your goth days. Any other thoughts on the nose before we dive in?
Yeah, not really. Just it's interesting because the waxiness almost makes me, which maybe is related to passion fruit has a very waxy, exterior, but it really just makes me think that we're about to taste something that tastes like a Tootsie Roll, that has the waxy wrapper on it.
Well, I sure hope.
Like a Halloween candy sort of.
I hope that's not what we're about to get. All right.
Let's find out.
certainly
Hmm.
tasty.
And it's definitely sweet.
Definitely sweet. I mean, it's a liqueur, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess I don't know if you had not told me it was passion fruit, if that's what I would have picked out. But I'm like, it's one of the tropical lifesaver flavors, maybe. Like so many of the tropical esters are kind of similar that it's like, oh, it's not mango, it's not papaya, it's not banana, it's not pineapple, but it's somewhere in that family,
Yeah, it's good. I like it a lot. Armagnac is such a strongly flavored, is such a strong flavor that you kind of like wonder how would the passion fruit get through the Armagnac. So I almost feel it's more like an Armagnac liqueur rather than a passion fruit liqueur.
Yeah,
Take my
although
drift.
I wonder if when it was new, if it would have tasted fruitier, but
Right.
it's like, yeah, it's actually quite good.
And I found people online who talked about it who said things like, oh, this is one of the few that's, distilled with passion fruit. And I don't know if they really knew what that meant.
What that meant.
and maybe like distilled passion fruit probably would taste different than fresh passion fruit.
Right. And I brought some dried passion fruit in case we wanted to say, okay, what is the flavor of passion fruit exactly?
So what is the flavor of passion fruit?
Dried, of course, it's a very concentrated flavor.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh yeah, that's passion fruit.
Yeah.
So and then, but yeah.
All right. Well,
like
let's find out what the flavor of passion fruit is.
Oh, and this one, see how it's orange? So this is actually a granadilla, which is a kind of passion fruit, one of the ones. And then you can see it's got the little black seeds inside.
It has the seeds.
Yeah.
I always like the seeds when you eat a fresh passion fruit and they're kind of crunchy.
The seeds are sort of the best part,
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The sugars have concentrated here. It kind of mimics what's going on.
I need more.
Yes. It's funny that you said waxy before because I actually get a waxy flavor from these.
Yeah. Well, and the fresh skin is very sort of waxy. And, part of why when it dries, it becomes this, like, unlike an apricot, which is sort of gushy, these are sort of more solid and a nice chew.
Having chewed on this, I feel like this is actually more passion fruit.
Yeah.
But it's passion fruit like this, not fresh passion fruit.
Well, the concentrated esters and, so forth. So, yeah.
And also that sort of, that oxidation or caramelization kind of thing that's going on is a little bit similar to the drying.
I like it.
I like it. I had high hopes for this one.
I was totally open-minded as to whether it was going to be fantastic or horrible. and I'm liking it.
It's impossible to tell, but we lucked out.
Right. We lucked out, and now it's like, oh, but now there's only this tiny bit left.
I know. It's so sad.
Drinking a little bit of history here.
That is the joy, right? Not very many bottles of this left in the world, I would guess. All right.
Thanks, Grandma.
Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for bringing me a passion fruit snack. Where can people find you online?
I'm at CeciliaTan.com. I have a Patreon at Patreon/CeciliaTan. I'm easy to Google. You can Google me easily. But yes, if you would like to follow any of my passionate writings, I have an erotic serial running right now.
I know. You just released it.
That has very gothy vibes.
Yes. Well, I can attest to the quality of the erotica writing. And to the quality of the friendships. Thank you, Cecilia, for being willing to take this one for the team and have it turn out to be great. You can find me, I should remember to say, at mytinybottles.com and at mytinybottles on Instagram and Facebook, at TammyLC on Blue Sky. You should also remember to like and subscribe and share and do all those things that you do down about there on the screen. And come back next time for more tasting videos and more bottle exploration. Cheers.